clear. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Please let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Okay. Please let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. And apologies for the glitch in the network yesterday. I'm very sure you know what the strength of some of our data service providers can be like. Just let me know if you can hear me. All right, so I see we are back. Apologies for that. Network is pretty bad this couple of days. So I'm just going to get started today. My name is Kendi as KRO. I am presently the Pandora agency. We are a marketing, communications, and creative agency based out of Lagos, Nigeria. And you're welcome to Build with Pandora. Build with Pandora is a knowledge sharing session where we pretty much talk about all things marketing and how to effectively to search Pandora Agents on YouTube search bar and navigate to the live area of the page to view past videos. So the last 3 videos we created for in line with this particular session, and also if you'd like to view these videos the platform. All right, I see. Okay, it's back. Apologies for that. So yesterday we touched on lead generation for businesses. So quite a number of events, but it's one that is there nonetheless. Businesses and they are not for profit, so they are for profit, so they have to make a profit to exist and to still, stand out as a business. So on that, to about the NGO brands, we still do date and various requests in terms of marketing inquiries. And yes, NGOs also need marketing, which is very, very pivotal to provide and to provide sustenance or whatever else is needed towards the overall goal or objective as an NGO. Okay. And just to mention that this question was also one of the questions asked by the viewers today. On if Pandora actually works, and we addressed that in the last video. Okay. Now, in terms of let's go to today's topic, and I mentioned that today's topic is going to be focused on the not-for-profit, so the NGOs, right? How can NGOs also generate leads, right? And when you say NGOs want to usually line items for NGOs, increase the sponsors that actually gives to the NGO. Again, they do not make money from it, so they have to find ways to actually resources to actually facilitate whatever it is that they're actually doing. Another is to increase either volunteers or membership if they actually build within the NGO to cater to this a bit more than towards a certain aspect of the business, just to generate income for that. NGOs also want to be known as thought leaders, so you're thinking about, benevolent acts that you want to give into. An example is maybe healthcare for a community financially. There are different NGOs skewed towards this, right? So some NGOs also want to be known as thought leaders within this nation. NGOs as a volunteer as well as member of the management team. But also NGOs want to position the face of the brand as someone that's reputable, because why sponsors will actually sponsor an NGO is because of the track record of the founder, right? You must come across as someone that's trustworthy. Not just come across, you must be trustworthy enough to garner the trust of people to give to us. You're very important. I noticed some things here in which we actually we've used to successfully achieve the objectives that I have mentioned for a not-for-profit organization and across the African space. All right. And I'm going to be touching on some of them. I just wanted to buttress. I just wanted to go back a bit and touch on the importance of the importance of marketing to an NGO. Now, marketing, yes, it's usually seen as a resource to be used for businesses that actually make profit for a very number of reasons, right? Because with marketing, you have public relations, you have media relations, you have content, you have perception, you have that is always skewed towards generating an income for the product or service needs and users for them to adopt it, and whereby the business actually makes a profit from it. It's not so different from not-for-profit organizations as well, and that's because they have objectives they want to meet marketing-wise. So without further ado, I'm just going to touch on some things in which we usually would how we actually would approach quite a number of NGO briefs that we receive from not-for-profit organizations. Number one is to know the importance of certain digital assets, such as having a website. It is very pivotal, and not just having a website and information about the activities of the NGO on the website for the NGO. Very important, and that's because again it's your. I keep using the word reception to users of the brand or people that are even volunteers, as the case may be. So having a website is very important. Not just having a website, you have a website that's mobile friendly as well, because quite a number of people have mobile phones and they would always default to their mobile phones as opposed to using a laptop or a desktop. So ensuring that when creating such a platform, you can just create it for creating sake. Certain things that back was actually provided by non-profit tech good, non-profit tech for good, and it says 38% of NGOs do not have a blog. They don't have a blog that they actually publish on regularly. And remember, we touched on this, I believe, either it's on the second day or the third day of this touched on the fact that there's something pivotal to a long-term sustainable success of the brand across the digital space, right? So having a blog post, and it's as simple as maybe there was an ad, for example, yesterday was International Day of Education. It's about writing, just write about that. And if you have videos or pictures post it that has to do with that particular topic, and how that do not go to school, providing materials that are in classrooms, all that they blog posts, all right, and publishing that across the website. Another is 71. Another statistic says send email updates to donors and supporters, and that's also something that I see quite a number of NGOs not do. Right, for those that actually sponsoring either any initiative at all, either back to school or a food drive or anything of that nature, that their money is going towards a certain cause, right? And that is the NGO being very transparent and accountable, not just email newsletters, but heartfelt, all right, to these people occasionally, all right. And that, again, I mentioned psychology not being far from each other. The human mind is very, very strategic and very, very, nuanced to things like this. We're very emotional beings. We are very, very emotional beings. When we see things like that, I use the word ginger, it's a slang in Lagos, Nigeria. It gingers us to do more, meaning it spurs you to do more. You want to do more for the NGO, especially if you're giving recognition to that. And not everybody likes it, but most people do. Another statistics is saying that 67% accept online donations. 67 donations. Direct debits 42%, debit cards 28%, digital wallets 6%. So it's pretty much buttressing the fact that while you're an NGO, while you have certain objectives, you have to ensure you create ease of way for people to donate. So for example, you want to increase your donation as an NGO, you want to increase how people give to you as an NGO, you have to provide them the means to do that. You do not want a situation whereby people are for a bank create this asset towards the betterment of their, at the end of the day. So it's also 15% regularly sends text messages to donors and supporters. And I think I touched on this. The emotiveness of humans is very important. You want to send text messages. You want to send, I know I mentioned something also yesterday that talked about getting databases, right? And these are the reasons why you want to segment it effectively. Also, the database, I know they're getting fewer and fewer with each when you're born, right? I can't overstress the importance of this. I have worked as a corporate communications head before, and one thing that people always value the most is the gifts or the text message they receive from companies every year. You may think that it's a spamish sort of activity. It seems like that, but it is always memorable. So imagine that created an avenue to get the database of the date of birth of your sponsors, the date of birth of your volunteers, and on their birthdays, you consistently send them messages. Imagine that the next birthday they are looking to do, they're definitely going to say that, not definitely, but most times, they will want donations, as opposed to gifts being sent to them, donations to be sent to your NGO. And this is how it works. So when you connect with the emotiveness of humans. Another thing is to ensure that you have a well-defined strategy. So digital strategy cuts across content marketing, it cuts across social media, right? And it cuts across, even marketing. So how you're putting out the information, how to get more people to see and more about the that can also be a part of the good work you're doing. It's important that you must have a strategy. And it also says about 34% actually have a paid strategy. It goes without saying, if followed, it must be, if it's being followed by a new set of people, it is triggered by activities, subliminal market activities that have been carried out. Either people share the post that you posted that you touched, or maybe you peradventure got a known person, influencer, to be aware of your NGO, and they are pretty much the mouthpiece for your NGO, either offline or online. So it goes very important to think about this, as well as fully in terms of the objective that you want to achieve. Agent channels, we are looking at partnerships and affiliation. And one major partnership, so I used to, at least a backstory. So I used to be Slum to Schools International, partnerships manager. And my job was pretty much to ensure that we get partners on board. So things like getting a visa, things like getting with the children to attract this. But these were the partners that we got on board. Affiliating your organization through the NGO with a great see, and I didn't touch on the for NGO, think small, do not think about just the immediate at the grander market. So look within the international communities, because quite a number of people, quite a number of organizations within the international community, especially if they are in this part of the world, they want to tie the organization into a greater cause. Eat and go. So when I say eat and go, I'm talking about Domino's Pizza, I'm talking about their and how the organization Eat and Go was able to tie into something into it's very simple value about education for the so define properly what you want your NGO to serve in terms of giving back to society and similar goals and tie that into it as well. All right, I've mentioned website, so that goes without saying. You have to project the activities that you're doing. People need to know what you're doing so they can be a part of it. And it's not about it sitting in your social media, it's your reception. And that's because that's one of the first things that we currently have an NGO board. And NGO is the only NGO we've seen within the Niger done in the last about 4 years and 5 years is to empower the communities around that area. Number one, provide healthcare, because there are a lot of alien people around that area and they still do that consistently. And the third one is provide education. Right? So in partnership with even the public the government in that the government so they incentivize these teachers you want to ensure that you tell your stress things, because that is what triggers emotions in people. All right. This is where you show a record of the good that you're doing. As the media organization, can you say, oh, we want to give a free slot to this NGO because they've done this, and they've done this. If you've not shown it adequately told your story carrying out. Another is branding. And this is one thing that my good folks at Slum to School do adequate. It's been doing this consistently, and it involves the brand, the consistency, the visuals of each of the campaigns that are here for Slum to School. All right, so and that's what you want to do. What are you trying to communicate? How easy is it? Do you have an NGO? You don't even have, an identity, colors that people can easily affiliate with. You would need to rethink that entire strategy, because they're definitely going to write proposals. Very important. You want to source funds, you should write organizations within the country and outside the country. First of all, obviously, you do your research in line with the overall either goals or grant opportunities being provided by this organization if it's affiliated with yours. And I'm going to give an example to that end. Let's say Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation for the next humanitarian services, relate yourself with build a foundation to that end. And that's consistently writing proposals to them, searching out who they are and going into, international partnership fundraising. Let me go back to my marketing side. All right, we also want to mention internal participation. And this has to do with target audience are actually internal audience. So they're your volunteers, they're your sponsors, they are your mentioned volunteer sponsors, they're your staff members as well. To ensure you have them their sponsors and so pretty much touching on that. Another is to ensure that you're part of conferences as well as events. This makes it a bit awkward quite a number of organizations. It's within seminar, be a part of that. And you can simply pitch to this conference organizers, seminar organizers, that this is what your NGO does and this is what you're trying to achieve. And possibly give you a free booth to actually do this well. So all in all is to tell you're part of an NGO that feeds a community. How many people have you fed? How many children have you sent to school? How many water across your digital presence as well. That's pretty much it from me today. I hope this marketing nuggets from non-profit organizations as helpful to so please feel free to send me questions if you have any questions at all. hello@pandoraagency.co remains the email address to send in your questions to. If you did not get that, it's as simple as Googling Pandora Agency Limited and taking out the email address you find and do that. So thank you very much. Have a good day, everyone.